third frame. Spare of the 5-pin. Bo, in the opening, you mentioned that we're under new ownership here at Strikes and Spares. How about those owners?
That's correct. Norval Martin and John Henry are the current owners, and Vi McKinney, who is our queen this week, is the general manager, and I understand she's negotiating. She'd like to buy the bowling center.
Vi McKinney, who just happens to be the sister of the man we're going to see in game number 2, Rich Hill.
That's correct. Brother-sister team.
The bowling family. Keep that money in the family. Mark Walton, 3 in a row. So the first 3 times Mark Walton steps to the line, he puts 10 in the pit, Dave.
Yeah, you betcha. He's lined up. He bowls here. He knows the house, and he really knows this pair. Obviously, he's throwing a ball. It's one of the new urethane balls, but it's a hard shell ball. You typically wouldn't see the bowlers playing with a hard shell ball this early on because of the dressing on the lane should be a little heavier than it will be an hour or so from now. But he's doing it so well that that he's going to be the man to beat, I guarantee
4 in a row. 4 in a row for Mark Walton.
You know, we check the hardness of the bowling ball, of all the bowling balls the guys use on the show to make sure that they're the legal hardness, and that ball was the hardest one that I checked this morning, around 85.
That ball right there could have been 105, and it would have carried all the pins. It was perfectly thrown. There you see the ball deflecting way to the right after it enters the pocket. David's kind of smiling about it, and it really wouldn't have changed anything because David's already in the finals. As we mentioned several times, you have to appear on the telecast to be eligible for the finals. David has done that. Also have our 2 alternates that we have. Well, they've all appeared on the show already, so it wouldn't have changed anything if David would have just sat it out today.
You might want to mention the alternates. This morning we had a roll-off earlier before the show started, and between Bill Pollard Sr. and Mike Whalen. Mike Whalen did win the honor to be the standby in the event that we needed to use him today.
Well, it looks like at least through 4 frames that the right ankle of Dave Forwood may carry him through, although I'm sure, as we've seen, what was it, back in week 5, Forwood a much better bowler than this. He's got 4 spares.
You've got to have all, see, continually light, no roll on the back end, and that all comes from the injury. I guarantee you, you cannot bowl textbook correct if you have an injury. Now, I've bowled a couple of great series before when I've been sick, and the only thing that'll do is to keep your whole body slow, and that's okay. But if you got one part of your body that you're favoring over another, it's going to throw your whole game off. See, again, missing to the right, Tom, that'll continually happen.
Like a car not running on all cylinders.
No, that's right, or having a bent wheel on the right front. It's going to pull that way.
You know, in Dave's honor, or talking about Dave, he's cashed almost every single week. You know, I'm looking at the prize list here, and he has bowled really well all year. This is not his normal form.
No, not at all, Bo.
For Mark Walton, and making your first appearance, and it's in your home house, he'll take any advantage he could possibly get. That's the first pin he's left standing in 5 frames.
Well, that's the way to come off a string. You know, break down a split. Now, obviously, he threw a bad shot. He had the 4-6 remaining. The 4-pin was hacksawed out of there by the 2-pin, and he has a relatively easy cross-lane spare, the 6.
And just like that, turns his back on it as he takes out a 6. Dave, every week you give your tips, and I've been talking to a lot of people. They've really been benefiting by them. But yesterday I was watching the PBA National Championship up in Toledo, and Nelson Burton Jr. was talking about the proper way to loosen up, and he mentioned that 5 practice games is enough. Now, I would imagine it determines on an individual, but was that